So this story came out about a day ago. I'm kind of late to the party here when it comes to this news story, but I really wanted to cover this news story anyway, even though a lot of people already covered this news story, because I absolutely thought this was absolutely a joke, and I actually want to talk about it on this video on my channel. So here we go. We're on the website SouljaWatch.com. It's pretty much from the famous rapper Soulja Boy. You guys know the famous song Crank That. He made a lot of cheesy rap songs back in the day to really appeal to the mainstream masses. So yes, he's a well-known rapper, and a lot of people know who Soulja Boy is. But here's SouljaWatch.com. And here's some of the items that he has on the website. He has a Soulja watch, which is clearly a ripoff of the Apple Watch right there. You can see even the design of it's a ripoff of the Apple Watch, and even the interface of the watch is a ripoff of the Apple Watch. That's clearly a ripoff of the Soulja watch. You can see it's only going for $19.99, and it normally retails for $50, so it is on sale right there. And then you have the Soulja Pods, which again are ripoffs of the Apple AirPods. They normally go for $20. Now they're on sale for $10. And then we have the two items which I'm actually going to be talking about in this video specifically. I'm going to be talking about the Soulja Game handheld and the Soulja Game console. And then he sells some headphones and he sells a cell phone right there. The console and the handheld are on sale. The console normally runs you $200. Now it's on sale for $150, and then the handheld normally runs $200. Now it's on sale for $100. So you're getting a pretty good deal if you ask me, at least in terms of the actual prices of these, since he is pretty much giving these to you about half off the Soulja Game handheld. But let's first look at the Soulja Game console, and let's see what the Soulja Game console actually is about. So you can see right here, here's the actual console right here in the picture. You can see it's pretty much just a white box. On the front of the box you have the power button right there to turn off and on the console, and then on the actual front of the unit you do have some USB ports, and then on the side you do have an air vent right there to let out air so it won't overheat, of course. And that's pretty much the whole design of the Soulja Game console. If you notice something about the Soulja Game console, there is one thing to take note. Something to take note about this console is, what does this console remind you of? That's right, it reminds you of the Xbox One system. That's right. He pretty much just took the design of the Xbox One console and pretty much just ripped it off, and that's pretty much what you have here, a straight replica of the Xbox One console. And here's some more pictures of it, and then here's the controller that's supposed to be used with it. Again, this is actually another ripoff of another product. You can clearly see right here the design of the game controller for the Soulja Game console is the PS1 DualShock from the PS1. This is actually the type of controller that should have been released on the PS1 Classic, but it's not. But I guess Soulja Boy decided, since Sony's not going to use the DualShock on the PS1 Classic, let's just use it for our machine right here. So here it is right here. It's pretty much your standard controller. It got your joysticks, it got your D-pad, it got your face buttons, it got your triggers on the back, it got your select and start. It pretty much has everything ready to go on this actual controller right here. And then you have a screenshot of the actual system. You can see more images right here at the bottom. If you take note, it says Ultra HD 4K HDMI capable, but I think you guys already know there is no way in hell that this thing is going to play in Ultra HD 4K. First of all, you're talking about $149 for this thing right now on sale, and even the normal price of this thing is only $200. So you think for $200 there's any way you'll be able to get a game system that plays in true 4K or even upscaled 4K or checkerboard 4K? There is no way in hell this thing is going to be playing in 4K resolution. That is absolutely false marketing right there, which is funny. He's really trying to sell these things hardcore by trying to put Ultra HD 4K HDMI. And then you can see there's a picture of the controller, and if you go back here, that looks nothing like the controller right here. I'm assuming that controller on this image over here is going to be worse than the image that's actually shown, so it's not going to be a good controller at all. It looks like it's going to be one of those plasticky cheap USB controllers that's not going to be good at all, so it's probably going to be a fail when it comes to the controller right there. And then if you read some more descriptions of it, it says supports 4K HDMI, AV out, Gaming dot support 1280 720p at 60 frames per second. Game speeds, FPS, one-to-one output, and then it runs some type of Linux or Linux operating system, 3.0 OS pre-installed with 800 classic games. So right there, it tells you that this game is going to be an emulator box. It's just going to be playing ROMs right there, because it does state that it does have 800 games included. And then if you look over here right next to all the images, it gives you some details about the game system itself. You can see it doesn't really tell you any of the internal speculations of the actual machine. It pretty much just tells you the weight, the size, the model, the brand, the packaging. But right here, it does tell you what type of games you are going to be getting with this box. You will be getting PlayStation games, Neo Geo games, PC Engine games, I'm assuming, unless that's PC games from your PC. But if it's actual PC games that are being played on this thing, I don't know how well they would run. And then it says it plays Sega games, Game Boy Advance games, NES games. And there is one red flag about this whole thing when it talks about all these game systems being able to be played on this game system. The one problem I have right here, this is already a red flag. You guys know when you try to get games like this on your own device, you could run into some lawsuit problems, or you could be sued, because I'm pretty sure Soulja Boy did not go out and try to buy all the licensing for these games from companies like Sega, Nintendo, and different companies like this. There is no way in hell he probably got all the licensing for this thing. And as you guys know, especially with Nintendo nowadays, Nintendo shut down Love ROMs, and they've been on the lookout for some other ROM sites and things like this. And if he's trying to profit off this thing and make a quick buck, you know that Nintendo could potentially come after him. Will they ever come after him? There's really no way to know if they're ever going to come after Soulja Boy for producing this thing, but it's just a red flag, and he really needs to stop selling these consoles if he doesn't want to get in trouble from the law. And I would definitely recommend just shutting this thing down immediately, whether we're talking about the handheld or whether we're talking about the actual game console. I recommend him shutting this thing down. He could have got the licensing for these games, don't get me wrong, because he is a big rapper and he has a lot of money in the bank, so he could, but most likely we know he didn't. And then it says age over 3 years old. What does that actually mean? Does it mean that this game console has been on the market over 3 years, or does this mean that people over 3 years old can play this game console? That's really something odd when it comes to the actual description of this thing. And then of course it says 800 built-in games, and most likely these are not going to be quality games, 800 quality games. Most likely what these are going to be is these are going to be some ROM hacks of different games, whether you're talking about the original Super Mario, Tetris, whatever the case may be. Most likely they're going to be ROM hacks, and they're not going to be good games. And if he is putting on the actual games that are actually from companies like Sega, Nintendo, Sony, then he's probably going to get sued no matter what. That's just absolutely ridiculous. Overall, this thing doesn't look really good, and I'm actually puzzled to why he's actually selling this game console. There's really no way to know. I think he's just really trying to make a quick buck off of these consoles, and honestly he needs to shut this down immediately. But yes, this thing looks like something that you would not actually want to buy, but here it is. This product looks like a fail, in my opinion anyway. Of course, I haven't actually tried this thing, but just by looking at it, it looks like a cheap Chinese knockoff emulator system or a clone system. Now let's go back to the other one, the Soulja Game Handheld, and let's see what the Soulja Game Handheld has to offer in terms of the Soulja Game Handheld. You can see here's the game handheld right here. It looks like the screen is a 3-inch screen. It runs off of USB, so it has a USB port on it, I assume. Just looking at the specs here. And then the weight is 0.35 kilograms. The color is a black console, which is absolutely kind of a fail in the description, because at least the one right here looks like a white console, and the image on the actual screen itself looks like some Burnout Revenge, I think that game's called. And honestly, there's no way in hell this thing's gonna play Burnout Revenge. That was I think an Xbox original game or an Xbox 360 game. Either way, there's no way in hell this thing's gonna be playing Burnout Revenge. If this thing could actually play Burnout Revenge, that would be insane. But this thing is not playing Burnout Revenge. And then you can, looks like on some of these other images, you can actually plug this into the TV, but it looks like you can only plug this into the TV via AV, so it looks like the standard definition plugs are red, white, and yellow, which aren't all that good, to be honest. But if this thing, again, just like the console he's making, the handheld, if it's going to be playing emulated old school retro games, and there's no need to have an HDMI port, I guess you can kind of use that. And then it looks like on the image right here, something else to take note of. It looks like that's FIFA Street from way back in the day, or it looks like a poor man's FIFA Street. But yes, all these images make you believe that some of these games on here are actually going to be top tier quality games from consoles. Like I said again, just like the Burnout Revenge game, or Burnout game anyway, there's no way that this thing's going to be playing any type of FIFA game on here. Epic fail. So this is definitely just false advertising. And then here's what some of the buttons look like. It looks like it has a USB port, a backlight on it, AV out. It has your standard buttons. It has shoulder buttons, a D-pad, face buttons, a start and select. So it pretty much has all your buttons on here. And it even looks like it has a TF card, or a SD card slot, or a micro SD card slot, where you can presumably, I would assume, put more ROMs on here if you want to put more ROMs on here. And it also has an earphone jack, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, there's the design of that. Now let's see what type of games this is going to play from the description on the side. It looks like this game console is going to play Switch games, 3DS games, Vita games, Neo Geo, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance handheld games. So in my personal opinion, if you were going to buy one of these, would you buy the handheld or would you buy the actual console counterpart? I would definitely say just go with the handheld counterpart, for one reason, because if you look at the description, it looks like it plays more games than the actual console counterpart. It plays Switch games, 3DS games, Vita games, Neo Geo games, Game Boy Advance games. It pretty much plays some of the most current game gen, so I would definitely recommend this over the console. But then again, I'm just BSing you guys, because you guys know, again, there's no way that this thing is going to be playing Switch games. If this thing could play Switch games in your pocket, he would definitely have a lawsuit waiting to be happened. Then again, he's already having a lawsuit waiting to happen on this console, but there's no way there's enough power in here to play Switch games, even Vita games, or even 3DS games on here. There is just no way. And besides that, the screen on this thing is obviously not going to be that good. We're talking 3 inches. We're probably talking very low resolution, so there's no way a Switch game would be playing on here. 3DS games are playing on here, or Vita games on here. I can see Game Boy Color games, Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy games, Neo Geo games, and things like that playing on here. But 3DS, Vita, and Switch games, nope, no way in hell those are going to be played on this system. And this one even claims right here from this picture it's going to play more games than the Soulja Boy console. The Soulja Boy console was going to play 800 games. Now it's going to play 3,000 games on the handheld? Mind blown, guys. Seriously, mind blown. 3,000 plus games. Oh my god. This thing is just such a fail. Maybe somebody out there would actually be willing to buy this thing and actually play around with this thing and see the quality of the game, see how this thing actually functions and everything like that. But that's not gonna be me, because these things are just not gonna be that good. I can already tell that these things are just not gonna be that good. And let's see how you can actually buy this. It looks like you can buy with Google Pay right here, and then you can add to cart normally, and then there's only one color console. It says there's more payment options. Let's see what else we got here. It looks like we still got the same. Oh, we got one more option here. We actually got buy with PayPal. So if you want to buy this with PayPal, you can buy this console with the PayPal or with Google Pay, and then you can check out here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this thing. But yes, it's just funny how Soulja Boy is trying to make a new game console and a new handheld, and pretty much what they are just Chinese knockoffs of retro game systems or clone systems. Overall, they're not going to be that good, and really don't waste your money on these things, even though they're not all that too expensive. $100 is still $100. You'd be better off saving your money and buy like an SNES classic console or an NES classic console. You'd be better off with your money spent there. And honestly, most likely you can even probably emulate all the games that he has on some of these devices on your PC or on something else. So it just really doesn't make all this sense that he's really just trying to make a quick buck. And honestly, also, I don't really understand why he's trying to make a quick buck off of some game consoles when he already has a lot of money in the bank, and he's pretty much well off, and he's going to be most likely down the road in the near future could be sued for all this thing, because like I said again, he didn't get licensing for any of this stuff that he probably has on these game consoles. Anyway guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Anyway guys, this is Wayne from MyTech.